Isma link ya eyokugundi ya ku Facebook batesinda gifuna.
Yazedda sebo.
Yazedda. Kanji nonyeko tulabisebo maro giteekayo. Brilliant. Okay.
So she Kayira oli live ku Facebook ne ku YouTube.
Ku Facebook ne YouTube live. Barakallahu fikum. I'll just take that and go straight in. We are live now. Okay. Yeah. All right. Isma, we want to read the Sebone Jingo Yafe, and then I'll kick off the conversation.
Nagende nesindika message ng'obudde bukyali abantu ne baŋŋamba nga tebitandika nga tetuliiyo. Ngati wae nakoze mistake ndowooza.
Isma, when you are ready, just give us a heads up so when we get rolling. Okay, and 15 seconds in, I'll come in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, on 75 live on 75 W Radio and live on UMMA Connected, as well as on our YouTube channel, UMMA Connected as well. We are streaming live on Facebook as well as on Zoom. Your opportunity to have the big conversation. This is the global community conversation where no topic is off topic. Only difference that we have here is we do whatever subject we tackle with decency. Therefore, abusive language, for example, is one that we do not entertain, but we do agree on how to disagree. Today, we have a very beautiful conversation building up, and this has been deliberate because over the last few weeks since this program started, we've been trying to look at families and what is happening into our homes, inside our homes. What is going wrong? What can we do to spice up? The Baganda have got a saying, "Asiko buramu utasa mukono." In other words, if someone is actually in the saucepan, stirring whatever they are cooking, or as a driver who is on the steering wheel, you never release that steering wheel. You just keep checking your gear. Change from number 1 to number 2 to number 3 to number 4 to number 5 to number 6. Possibly very soon we shall even have gear number 7. It's been moving. It doesn't make sense, for example, to be in gear number 1 when you are actually on a stretch where you can have gear number 5. So it's about regulation, and actually that translates into the Uganda saying, which says, "Asiko buramu tasa mukono." We thank you very much for being a part of this conversation, a conversation where last week we were looking at people who are married but are living like single. In other words, it is mothers especially, it became clear from that conversation from last week that many wives were struggling, dropping off kids to school, looking after homework, coming back home to cook, and it looked like the husbands were actually missing. It became clear that yes, some are busy working out there, but probably it's about finding that nice balance, striking that balance. In Islam, for example, we are advised to always ensure that we strike that middle balance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, "Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا." That we have made you the middle group, we have made you the middle generation. Why? Simply because لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ, that you'll be bearing testimony to people, وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا, and the Prophet ﷺ now becomes a witness upon you because he has delivered the message. It is upon you to carry the message forward. Therefore, the issue of being moderate in our actions, extremism, is prohibited in nearly all senses of our lives, be it from religion, be it from our lifestyles. The whole issue of extremism is actually seriously prohibited from an Islamic perspective. We need to always strike the balance. It became clear that husbands are out there working too hard, wives are out there working too hard. What is going on? Our homes are getting wrecked. If you look at the levels of divorce right now going on across the world, it is unbelievable. The numbers are growing every day. Something is happening. How comes our older parents, despite the difficult situations that they lived in, you could find a situation where a husband had 2, 3, 4 wives sometimes in the same house, only separated by bedrooms, quite often in houses that didn't even have ceilings. And yet, despite all the hardship, despite all the difficult situations that these people lived through, they managed to stay there. What has happened to today's generation that our patience is so low? Our patience threshold is so low that people cannot sustain or contain those situations. Interestingly, if you get an opportunity to speak to these older people, they will tell you that if they had had the chance that we have today, possibly they would have done what has happened today. There was a lot of patience, but it was sometimes patience out of not having options of what could happen. But because of the many options that have come today, patience, of course, has suffered as a result. But importantly, people now are beginning to speak out. The ability for people to come out and express their feelings, what they feel at a particular moment in time, and then using that as an opportunity to be able to try to address these things. In Islam, because we will have people who are part of this conversation that are not necessarily Muslim, but at least because this is a global community conversation, it is as well good to sort of understand where we come to this discussion from. If you look inside Islam, you look at how God made it so easy for us to get inside the lives and the homes of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to understand what was going on inside his household. The things that we go through, the kind of dilemmas, the kind of tensions that happen inside homes were things that were happening inside the house of the Prophet. How did he deal with that? That really becomes the lesson for many of us. And therefore, we use that as a building block to try to find ways of how we can better our own selves. So building up from last week, looking at the amount of pressure that women, mothers have been going through, even in some instances, their husbands who are also married, but then they're like single because they've ended up being on a timetable. And this is probably coming from her own situation because she's so tired from working too hard. As a result of that working too hard, it has made her life so hard for her to be able to come and concentrate on the husband. How do we try to balance this whole debate? That is the discussion for today, and it's actually that dream date. Should we just think about dating only in the context of building up to get someone? Or is there something that we can do to actually spice up our relationship? This is the same thing about love and relationships, that you need to nurture this kind of relationship on a daily basis. You need to find the ways of how to put stuff into your relationship that would make it better. The Prophet ﷺ says in a hadith, for example, tahadu tahabu. Give gifts. Give yourselves gifts. Share gifts, and that is between husband and wife or even between families. As you share gifts, you will love one another the more. This is the importance of it. So shouldn't we be finding ways of spicing up our relationships? It will be very important to hear your own personal experiences, things that you think probably haven't happened, the things that should be discussed. Should dating only stop at the point of I've put them inside my house and that's it? Or should we always continue? Should you have dates that you find and you make it important? You just take days. Find ways of where you can put these children. Husband and wife, have your own date time. We just go to a place, sit down, have a different setting, because inside the home, there's always the pressure. Bills, there are these familiar things, the routine things. If you go out in a restaurant and you probably have that dinner, just the two of you, and then the next dinner can be with the rest of the family, so that you're building up that. But you get an opportunity to communicate between husband and wife. It might actually be that missing link, your relationship to get spiced up and therefore get better. I'd like to hear what actually this conversation is all about. I would like to hear your personal experiences. Already in the chat room, I can see people have come in. Salma Abubakar is saying, Chokobu, that way soon they're thinking it's tomorrow after Sheikh Nkata. No, it's tonight and you're on. It's as well good. Ustad Zaid already said tomorrow we have Hajina Duri for Chronicles, and that's one definitely not to miss. But the discussion today is about that grand date. There are people who have sat. There are times you've sat probably with your spouse, your wife. Nakugamba nti bwe we've never gone for a honeymoon. I've never had a honeymoon. And you've been married for 20, 25 years. They don't feel they've had that. If it is a honeymoon that they are crying after, have you even provided that date? Date you can need to be sustained that inside the marriage itself, you are able to continue having that kind of conversation. I would like to hear your points. Remember, within the chat room, you can just share your views in case you're shy to speak. But once you come into this conversation, we will definitely come to you and we should have an opportunity to have a discussion. Isma, if we can just please have 5 minutes of just this discussion to help us while more people are joining in, just to get us talking. And that will be the point of our conversation. You can have a conversation. Please feel free. We have the languages. We can speak Swahili. We can speak Kinyarwanda. This is a global community conversation. Please, Isma, go ahead.
I'm a lifestyle expert and mom of 7, and I'm so glad you're here today. Have you ever struggled with making time for date night in your marriage? Well, guess what? You are in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to be talking about why it is so important to prioritize a regular date night with your spouse and share a few tips on making it easier to keep up the habit of romancing your hubby via date night. Before we dive in, let me ask you, how often do you and your spouse currently go on a dedicated one-on-one alone time date experience? I'm going to put a poll in the cards, but let me know in the comments if it's been too long since your last date. The first reason why a date night needs to be prioritized is that marriages need to be fed. Think of like a fire and adding logs to a fire. So if you're not familiar with the concept, in order to keep a fire going, you have to continually feed it. You've got to continually add logs to the fire in order for there to be something to burn. And it's interesting because when a fire goes out, why does fire go out? It honestly doesn't usually go out because of like wind. Obviously if it like rains or you throw a bucket of water, that'll happen. But a lot of times a fire will go out because logs have not been added. There has not been more fuel added to the fire. And I really think it's the exact same thing in marriage. I think that we have to continually stoke and fuel that fire in order for it to burn bright. And I think that sometimes in the busyness and the hecticness of mom life and working and all these things, we just forget, to be honest, to add logs to the fire. Like, to be very frank with you, I think it's just one of the things that becomes like the unprioritized thing. And so I want to remind you, you got to go add those logs. And again, to bring back this fire analogy, imagine your husband is building a fire and then stops putting logs on it and it goes out. Did the fire just go out, or did you stop feeding it? Date night is feeding the fire of your marriage, and don't let the fire go out because you don't have time for it. We've got to make time and claim it and prioritize that time. Trust me when I say that I didn't always think of it this way, because by the way, I used to work a lot and then squeeze in the other parts of my life in the minuscule pieces where work did not take up. And I'm going to tell you a story about how I realized this so head on in my second reason, which is date night aids in communication with your spouse. It's not always easy to have deep conversations with someone, especially with your kids around. Anyone else feel this pain where you're just trying to have a one-on-one conversation, but then like everyone is battling for your attention? Mom, 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 you're not looking. Mom, 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 and it just gets worse and worse. Anyways, date night removes the distraction and lets you really connect with your spouse and sometimes get to the heart of really important things in your life, your dreams, your fears, your worries, your needs, your aspirations. Like, it's just necessary to do this in a space that is quiet and where you can actually look at each other. We need to communicate on this level with our spouse. They're the one we're doing life with. And it's just, I just think this is so, so essential. I want to tell you a story about a conversation I had with my husband where I realized that we were looking at our lives completely differently. So we were on a experience at a cottage where I had finally ended a very busy work period. And it was a time when I was like, kids, you're finally gonna get mommy back at the cottage. And I really wanted to show Josh that I was all in our marriage and that I was gonna do things differently. So we did this video series called Your Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. And it was right around New Year's, and so you were supposed to, one of the exercises had you look at your last year and describe it like a movie genre. And it was a time of great success for me career-wise. And so I remember just being like, oh my gosh, my movie genre was adventure, and my title of my movie would be Goals Met. And I remember he looked at me and said, my movie genre would be horror, and my movie title would be Vice Grip. And I just remember being like, how on earth have we come to such different places? And you want to know why we're at such different places? Because we were not talking. There was no communication. I was simply just leading the ship on the busy train. Those are two different things, ships and trains. But you know what I mean? I
think you can see the point is met. I actually wanted to end on that particular note. Wanga, it's Twara into that particular space where communication. It's all about communication, communication, communication. And as long as you have that, this is really what the great date is all about. I'd like to hear your personal experiences, just to sort of see. Warming up. I hear there is Kwesi Gomesi hyping for Hajjati. Barakallahu fikum. I hope it is coming very soon. Ustad Zaid, I'd like to get your particular view. When did you last take Hajjati out? And be honest about it. COVID notwithstanding. Sheikh Zaid, are you there? Sheikh Zaid. Sheikh Zaid? Right, I'll just move quickly to if there are any hands up. I'm just seeing the chat room is pretty quiet as well. Yes, I just like to hear Kugambi. I want microwave my food. But Sagara Kuvako, I think he has gone for Swala. Uzai Masebo Nkuuride, if you can, please just come back. Abu Mariam, I can see you're there. I'd like to hear your particular experience. When was the last time, pre-COVID, that you managed to take Hajjati out? Abu Mariam, you can unmute yourself, please. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for being part of Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, here on 75W Radio and on UMMA Connected. Yes, very passionate question that is going on here. We are talking about that date. Are you one of those believers that dating is, that great date is just before things go in, and once you are married, the date stop? Or when was the last time you took Hajjati out?
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Mr. Kassim Kayira, and I'd love to appreciate your program.
Barakallahu.
I love listening to your program, only that I've not been on for the last few weeks.
Oh.
Because I normally forget about this program. My wife reminds me all the time. I said I should not miss.
No, and luckily I managed to grab you as you're there. Let's talk. Let's have that conversation. When was the last time? Now.
If you mean by outing, if you mean by going out to eat,
yes.
Do you mean outing by going out shopping? Do you mean outing by going out to see the snow or the good weather?
It's having that moment alone, the sort of the you moment, you at Hajjati moment, yes. Without
a lot of times, because normally I'm normally free during Sundays, and a lot of times during the Sunday when the weather is good outside, we normally go out to the shops. Alhamdulillah, we go out to do laundry together. You know, we go to the restaurant sometimes, but right now the restaurants. So what we do, we call for, you know, we order online, and they bring home.
Mm-hmm.
But we do outings at least on Sundays. If the weather is good, alhamdulillah, we go out. If the weather is not good, then we stay indoors and we do.
Do you find those moments actually particularly enhancing in comparison to the routine at home? Do you find them probably a bit refreshing? Have you found them to be?
They are exceptional. Those moments are very exceptional. They are very exceptional, and you don't need a lot of money, by the way. You just have to fix according to the budget. The little budget you have in your pocket is what you use. So those moments are very exceptional. except with the conditions right now, it might not be easy, but sometimes what you do, you can call friends, come home, cook for them a different meal, share with them some few muchomo or stuff. Yeah, which we normally do every Sunday, alhamdulillah. So it's very important to have one day in a while with the family, and share some.
Being the first man to speak, actually, and then you come up, providing that kind of guidance. I think it actually provides a whole new probably area of discussion for us. And I would be expecting actually the chat room to be pretty busy with conversations along these lines. And seeing a Hajji with the Sunnah, with your kind of Sunnah, coming in and sounding romantic, quite often it's taken that we, the sheikhs, are very unromantic. The feeling has always been that we, the sheikhs, are very unromantic, and therefore we miss out, because now you have become master, everything just becomes that.
Actually, we should set as an example. We are the ones who should set as an example, because the best of the examples we have is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we should follow the best example. We are the ones actually supposed to be in that category, not out of the category. Yeah.
Abu Mariam, thank you very much. And we are continuing the conversation. Why don't I go to Mariam in Texas, actually, from Abu Mariam to Mariam in Texas. I'd like to hear your take on this. Mariam in Texas, please. If you can unmute yourself, let's hear your view. When were you last taken out? Mariam in Texas. Let's try X Little Tiger. Oh, that's quite a name. X Little Tiger. Your name, please. X Little Tiger, can you unmute yourself? This is a global conversation, so basically here it's free for all. When you come here, you've really come for that conversation. Let's hear about probably that dream date. You might actually even be unmarried, but you have that dream date that to the potential husband, this is how you would want it to be. How would you want it to be? Rauda, I can see Rauda Nabata. Is it Nabatanzi? Just connected, or Rauda? I'll let you settle in. Farida Hussein, please. Farida Hussein. Akasiri Kirilokaiti mu chat room. I'd really want to hear. Abdul Karim Mugabi, thank you very much. You come here and say self-evaluation may help to spice up your life. How do you actually carry out the self-evaluation? What is that utia amaka? Uomereza tutia amaka. Sheka mulegia sebo isma mumonda ya kusheka mulegia mbade sabo muleteku. Atuwe kumanya agatandika ku nsonge. Tutademu tutia ekirungo mu maka gaffe. Sheka kamulegia wherever you are. Sheka mulegia. Isma simanyo ba wori sebo. I needed help finding a bit of some of these people. Hey, Sheikh Amregia was this Abdul Karim Mugabinga Bwatuse Kubanga Yenda Bamazok Tuka Sheikh Amregia. Abdul Karim, you are always quite interesting when it comes to these conversations. Thank you very much for joining 75W Radio. And the program is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. Unmute yourself, please, Abdul Karim.
Yes, salamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. The women are still hiding. We will definitely get them coming on. When was the last time you took Hajati out? Or you are still searching?
No, my input wasn't about when I last took her out or when I last took someone out.
That's what I asked you, though. Let's start from there. COVID notwithstanding.
No, I don't have someone permanent. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't have someone permanent.
Right. So what would be your ideal date now? How would you see? Did you think from a context we just think about these big dates? Dates before they get married. Once you get married, they become big. Where do you have that? Would you agree, for example, like have men is outing, but men Allah is watching you. What would be your view, Abdul Karim?
My view is I first come to my statement. I said self-evaluation. If I don't evaluate myself personally, and if there is no room to evaluate our love affair, me and my missus or my wife, then the connotation of outing we may go out, but it may stand as if it's not an outing. We need to build a rapport between me and her where we can communicate on the same level, that if we go out, we are going to talk something which is objective and something which will help us to open up. We may go out, and before the end of the outing, we may end up being at different loggerheads. And you know?
So outing nefuke fitina muchifo ky'okufuuka a sort of happiness that you would have with.
In fact, you may end up coming back in different means, and I'll get my Uber. Go, I'll find you home. Yes. You know. So basically, I think it's how you can evaluate yourself. Evaluation, I may mean it can be healthy, it can be financial, it can be social. You know, because if I'm seeing you every day, Katinze, to give you just an experience, when we were kids, we were kids and we used to pop in our parents' bedroom. And I remember seeing my mom change the direction of the bed, you know. Since then, I was like, it got my mind. I was like, why are you changing the direction of the bed?
Why was she changing the direction of the bed?
No, I think it's, I've heard about Sengas, you know, Sengas talk about it. You know, it gives you another feeling in the bedroom, you know. For instance, you can
sort of change the routine so it's not like looking where it is normally.
Yeah, I think it's about, you know, this thing of I'm not good at I'm not whatever perfect at love, but I think there should be a spice, something to spice up. Every day you need to look at something to spice up. It's not one end that it should be ladies or men, but it should be something to spice up. So I could see that our mom used to spice up something, like, and our dad could oh, why did you change the bed direction? You know, you get him there. So I think we need to put in that atmosphere of evaluating ourselves. If we are going out to say, but why can't we do this and this? You know?
Right. Nora UK, can you unmute yourself, please? I'd like us to have a conversation with Abdul Karim here. Nora UK, if you can unmute yourself, please. What would be your ideal date? Nora UK? Nora UK? Still struggling with that. Hajati Muto. Hajati Muto, if you can unmute yourself, please. Sheikh Amrege, yarabise baba dachi abuze. Yarabise, okay. Nefunye basajja berere mbaye nja kufuna okudoboza ekyala. Nora UK, are you there, please? Or Aisha? 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 Because I can see, well, even the chat room now, the normal chat room noise. What do you as men do to spice up? This is a question from Amina. I don't know whether Uzaima is actually answering that, but it says, I'm convinced that keeping the emotional love tank full is as important to a marriage as maintaining the proper oil level is to an automobile. Running your marriage on an empty love tank may cost you even more than trying to drive your car without oil. That's from Gary Chapman, the 5 love page 5. Now, yes, please go ahead.
I think, Ma'am Kayira, what I would suggest is when you ask me, like, when did you last take your missus out? Yes. You're putting me on gunpoint.
No, but
that's why you're keeping us quiet.
Isn't that the self-evaluation? Isn't that the self-evaluation that you're talking about?
That's the self-evaluation, but self-evaluation sometimes is too much private, you know. I'm not so much of tegera lugana naye waliwo bagamba tugenda mu lusirika, you know. So I can say I'm going ngenda mu lusirika. I want to be meditating me personally, you know, then I'll reflect, you know. So if you have something like that, I may not tell you that I'm in meditation. When did you last take your whatever out?
Let's hear from Paji Abdul Karim. Barakallahu fikum. Stay there. I think it's just actually, there's a very nice discussion that is going on in the chat room between Amina and Huzaima, and because Huzaima spoke about that love tank and comparing the vehicle with human beings. But Amina comes in to say, give us specifics on how you keep that emotional tank full. Huzaima comes to say some men feel shy talking about their love life. They feel the manhood is threatened. Actually, that is very right. Not many men, and actually sometimes you tell people and they don't seem to see that quite quickly. Many men are very, very shy, absolutely shy. And as a result of that shyness, sometimes you fail to express these deep-rooted feelings that sometimes you have for people. Even, for example, to come out and say, I love you. You think about, saying to your own wife, to your own spouse, the last time you say to them, I love you, and you might actually find that many don't even remember the last time they did that, because they feel that naturally you should actually just imagine that it is there, that's the case. Paji, you are online. You are live on 75W Radio and on UMMA Connected. Go ahead, please. What's your take? Mpaji? Mpaji, you just went quiet. Amina here says he's being realistic. Just say you have never thought of taking your lady to a date. That's a bombshell to Abdul Karim Mugai. Be willing to learn that women need to be taken to dates. If your manhood is threatened, you need to realize it's a weakness that needs to be addressed and stopping being controlled by fear. Actually, that's a message to Zaima there. Hafsa Bideke comes in strongly to say, Wama Amina, Magambe Ko. Zaima hasn't dropped his guns. He says, so if I see my love tank running dry, I take it unto me to take my baby for a ride, I think he seems to say. Right. Sheikh Amlegea, Sebo Wazze, Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Wagenze n'obulireyo network yo ezzeemu nekola ebyemawanga.
Nedda si network. Badde nina ebinkwataganyizza.
Oh, barakallahu fikum. Kati Sheikh omulamu andooza ogulabye. Abantu bali wano omuntu alowoozaako ku lwe yatwala kati nga mumwenda ddala abakuzeekuzeemu ku myaka abavuzeevuzeeko okugamba hajjati nti omwagala really kikwanguyira muli. When was the last time wagamba ku hajjati nti okwagala nnyo?
Nze ku lwange nga njogera nga nze Kamulegeya.
Yes.
Ekintu kye nnateeka mu mutwe gwange nti byebimu ku bintu ebikuuma obufumbo. That's why I have been married for long.
How long have you been married for?
My first wife now, we are going to 35 years.
Allah Akbar. Barakallahu fikum. Yes, that's quite
Barakallah. So, buli lunaku buli omu ekintu kyogera buli lunaku si kya lunaku lumu si kya myezi naye nga buli lunaku tukyogera.
So how spicing gote, what do you do okusobola okuzza ka spice? Because if you are married for 35 years, that's a long time for a relationship.
Before the track that we are now, tubadde tubeera nti at least every 2 weeks we go out ourselves. Netubaako gye tutambudde gye twagala tuvuga emmotoka yaffe ne tugenda wonna we twasobodde okugenda. Sometimes ne twewaamu weekend nogaa nti this weekend tetujja kubeera waka. We'll spend our weekend in Manchester, we'll spend our weekend in Birmingham, Brighton. That's how we know all the places of England because we tried to kasita abaana twabakuza ate ne tufuna emirembe mingi. So gundi yaffe tubadde tugikozesa era nze ntera okigamba abavubuka bembeerako nabo nti bw'oba oyagala okukuuma obufumbo omukyala buli kiseera obufumbo tebukaddiwa gwe obukaddiya mwe mwennyini bannannyini bwo mwe mubukola ki mwe mubukaddiya naye bw'oba nga tobukaddiyiza tebukaddiwa bw'oba oyagala obufumbo buli lunaku buli omu abeere ng'aga nti omusajja oyo baamuloga nze waliwo ne bamaseeka abaakiŋŋamba nti oyo omusajja oyo Hakim baamulogaaloga talina kyategeera mukazi we buli kimu yakona.
How I would wish that people like Sophie Kenya, who is listening into the show and watching now, would actually understand Luganda. Sophie, samahani, this is Luganda. I'll try to translate, but what Sheikh Amlege is saying is how he has kept spicing up his relationship over time by going out as many times, going on endless dates. So it was not just about dates before getting married or while fiancing, and then once you get married, you forget about that. For 35 years, he has kept that. Yes.
Ekikulu Kassim Kayira, date nze ku lwange ku bavubuka mbagamba nti tokola date nga tonnaba kusalawo nti ogenda kukola ki? Kuwasa. Kubanga we as a Muslim, mainly, we as a Muslim, bw'oba oyagala obufumbo bubeere mu baraka, ujje mu dating nga omukyala tonnamukola ki? Onnamuwasa. Naye once you married her, please spice up your marriage as far as you want.
Well, it's very interesting, Sheikh Amlege, barakallahu fikum. A very interesting message here from Huzaima again. Huzaima, I just enjoy the way you've kept the chat room really busy. He says, and this is a story I think that quite a number might relate with, but it just goes to show love, that it's not directly dating, but it shows that the person that you love is always close to your heart. He says, I remember when I was a kid, there was a maulid in Zukuri, and my dad was there. So I remember him very well getting a chicken cocoa. So he got a piece of chicken and some pilau and said, take it to your mother, and when she receives it, let me know so that I can also cook. That was a very wonderful lesson. I can still visualize the glow on my mother's face. You can see now, actually, those expression of affection. Sometimes I think we struggle to express affection to the people that we love because probably we are struggling. And Amina says men teach us Islam, Valentine's is haram, which is true. But even on other days, they can't buy you roses. Let them buy us diamonds. Sincerely, these men, it's always the men who are in trouble. Why is it hard for men to be able to?
No, ekireeta ekyo nze ku lwange ndowooza nti abasajja sometimes twagala nnyo ate ffe okubeera nti batulaga omukwano naye ate ne tufailinga okuguwalaga back omunno okumulaga
showing the same love back. Yes.
Okitegeera ekirala nti abasajja abamu bagala ne beeteekamu bino enjogera kaŋŋame nze bwe kitwala egamba nti ate oba buli kimu nkireeta awaka. What do you want to go out?
Sheikh Amlege nkwegayidde kwatiddako katono nnyo wedda nanoonyeza Nora. I've been struggling to get Nora UK. Stay there because the conversation is still going on. Nora UK, come in for the ladies. I haven't had any lady having a conversation on this. It's been men who have been actually opening up and chatting up the space. Let's hear your take. A great date, your idea of a great date. Thank you very much for joining the program.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
barakatuh. It's quite interesting. The topic is quite interesting, but what I wanted to know, because my husband is always saying that things like that are not allowed in Islam. Mbadde njagala kumanya exactly
what Islam says about this. Is it about going out on a date as a married couple? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's more like it. Like obviously, 2 days back, they have celebrated the Valentine and everything.
Yes.
But each time you talk about things like that, is like Islam doesn't allow that. Islam is this and that. So because I always hear that, I wanted to hear from you, and if anyone knows about what Islam talks about it, I would like to know more about that.
Well, I'll tell you on this on the basis of things like Valentine's. While from a religious perspective, they are haram because a lot of things in Islam, especially, when we're looking at Islamic law or Sharia, we look at the foundation of things. If you look at the story of Valentine's and where Valentine's came from and all of that, there are issues that would have actually. That's one of the questions that I raised. How do you try to balance the faith requirements in comparison to keeping a warm relationship, running a relationship that is comfortable, but at the same time remaining within the limits of our faiths? The different faiths, it might be Muslim or non-Muslim, Christian or Jewish, it might be that you are where you are. From an Islamic perspective, while things like Valentine's do not have a basis and therefore would stand to be haram, there is nothing whatsoever that says, and that's where in our introduction I laid it out very clearly, that, for example, the Prophet spoke about giving gifts, tahabu, tahabu, exchange gifts, and through the exchange of gifts, you will actually enhance and build up your love relationships. This is very, very important, that as you exchange gifts, it's part of the process of showing affection. Going out with your family, deciding to take, a holiday away from home, finding that moment. And this is why this particular date was really critical. See a mother who has been running with the kids, doing the homework, doing the school runs. Suddenly a time of break comes where you can find a moment where the two of you can get out and find a moment that you can have a moment yourselves. There's definitely nothing unreligious about it. And therefore, I'll put your heart in the right place, that there's nothing, at least within the confines of that would stop you from having a date. And a date is a continuous one, which can be refreshed at any particular moment in time. So religiously, there is nothing that says that can't be done. The problem is the moment you tie it, say, to a particular date on the 14th of February, and everything has to stop. Then you start creating a problem, because for a Muslim, the days that are days of celebration, at least from a religious, from a faithful, are mainly 3 days. You have your Eid al-Adha, the Eid of Ramadan or Eid al-Fitr, and then Eid al-Adha, which is the Eid of sacrifice. And so Fridays are holidays for Muslims. So people should not use that as an excuse to sort of run away from responsibilities. And probably husband might not have been knowledgeable about it. He might have been taking it literally. But now this is the opportunity that from a religious point of view, there is nothing that says you can't be romantic. There's nothing that says you cannot show affection. The Prophet ﷺ would come. There's a moment we are told about where he was playing kauna, the sort of the hide and seek with Aisha radiallahu anha, racing against one another, and then she beat him the first time. The Prophet waits for another opportunity. They raced again, and then the Prophet beat her, in the race. This all shows, and that's why I say that at least we were given an opportunity to go inside the house of the best example for us as believers, in the context of understanding how we can run our own relationships. And that says a lot. So I think it sort of opens up that sort of window that and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Nisa'ukum harthul lakum fa'tu harthakum anna shi'tum. Your wives, your spouses are your gardens. So go to your gardens as you so wish, as you best see fit. These are all indications that point to particular things. The room is open. It's for people now to get creative about how they do it. Because of the different backgrounds that we come from, some people will like a few things and others won't like a few things. There is a woman, for example, who you can never kiss because her understanding of kissing or peck will be totally different, and that can actually cause tension. There are people who are shy who says you cannot kiss in public, and yet this person, husband, wanted to do sort of a public show of affection, a public display of affection. These are all things that come into play, and I hope, Nora, probably you leave this program tonight with something to say. Very, very well, husband. Umu Khalum says some men are like, I'm taking you out, so dress up nice and look your best. The outing ends being a visit to a family member. Quite some lessons there. Hafsa Bideke, I'd like to hear your take on this, please. Unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much for coming to have this conversation.
Actually, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to comment on this show. I've been looking forward to it. Actually, my take does not differ so much from the lady who's just been. What I have observed through having a lot of male friends, I do have a lot of male friends. When it comes to taking their wives out, that is when Islam is totally against that. No way, you can't, you have to be at home, cook for your husband and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Yet, they have side dishes and that is okay for them to take their side dishes out. So Islam is not against that. So, Abami, I swear Allah is watching.
But Islam is against that, as you would know.
Against what? Of course, against that, but when it comes to taking side dishes out or treating the side dishes, I think for some reason Allah disappears and God is watching you.
Yes, only those times. So let me ask you then, Hasfa, what would be your ideal date then? How would you want it? Because sometimes actually, you come from backgrounds that never had some of these things. Yes, there are relationships where you can, think about creative ways of how to be, nice, take out your spouse. But there are certain things we are not used to. I actually remember my dad, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him, in the 70s, gets us, takes us as a family, but then decides and leaves us somewhere and takes, he goes with my mom, and they just decide to go to a zoo, spend time there, they decided to, even find a place to sleep. And we felt as children, it actually felt bizarre, but it was very interesting. And you could see the difference it made to our mom once she came back. Our dad is sort of a stay-away dad, very busy, traveling a lot. But that moment that he comes in, and you see the excitement that comes, it made a huge difference. This is the 70s, and as a child, I still remember that, vividly, and you see the difference it actually made. So what would be your ideal kind of date? How would you want it to be done? So because men are in the learning process. A lot of us, many of us are still learning.
I would love it to be like, I come back home, for example, okay? I'm tired. I say, I've got to make dinner, I've got to do this. And then you say, honey, no, we are going to eat out. That is okay. Do you know how many kilograms of stress
you would have taken off as a result of that?
Yes. Lifted off my shoulders. So just small things. As women, we really don't need a lot of things to. Even if you say, do you know what, honey, let us meet for a cup of tea. Just me time, because like the clip you showed there, it is so true where the lady was saying you never get time. Every time you're trying to communicate, to talk with an adult, the kids are like, mommy, they're always vying for your attention. So just those few minutes that we go together, it is me and you, or even going out with the family, that is fine. But one thing I've seen with our Muslim men, apologies, not all of you, maybe the ones on Zoom don't do it. When it comes to taking a woman out, that is when money is wasted. That is when there is no time. I am so tired. I've got to do this. We've got to do that. Which is not fair. Life is too short. Life is there to be lived. Yes. You are just talking about how your dad, sorry, I'm taking so long.
No, not at all.
You were just talking about your dad. That is exactly what my dad used to do when we were so young. Take us out to go and see plays. And you come back, not only your mom that is rejuvenated, but even you, even as the kids, oh my God, life was good. So
thank you very much, Hasfa. And the reason, I think someone is commenting here. Oh, my microphone is not clear. My microphone should be clear. I hope it is better now. But Ummu Khalum was saying women are like roses in the desert. For them to bloom, they need to be watered. Hasfa, stay there, please. Let's hear from Lisa as well. Lisa, welcome to Come. Let's talk with me, Kassim, Kayira. Your point, your ideal date, please. Hi, Lisa? Lisa? You have the mic. You go ahead, please. Oh, Lisa seems to be. Lisa, are you there? I'll go back to Abdul Karim Mugabe very quickly. Abdul Karim, you've just had Hafsa.
Yeah,
Hafsa's point. I think you are responding to her.
I want to respond to Hafsa's pitching.
Yes.
It takes two to tango. If we're in a relationship, you have to analyze my weakness and support me. If you see that I may be having money and you have money, but if you see that I'm a little bit slow on making proposals, why don't you move in and say, you know what, honey, I'm taking you out today. You know, it will remind some other time that, oh, I think I need to step up my game.
Now. All right, Abdul Karim, stay there. Sheikh Mpanga Simo Jafar, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wewe ni nyo kujja ku program kadwa.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ko wane mpitiri vaga mama maseka tetuli romantic at all. Tabu jibogende na kwa ganti kana no watch. Amina here says let them watch you tutorials on how to massage us. Vaga kusoma bali imani, they say they are saving for the future. But that's why from their stress and they spend the money on treatment. Sheikh Jafar, ama Sheikh bifira rudda wa tutulemedwa okubera romantic. Ngasiroza titori romantic Sheikh.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kirize nebaze Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala olwakawungeezi kano n'olw'obulamu. Nsaba nnyo Allah abalwadde ya Rabbi abakoleki abagondeze abasuuse ne ba Allah baatutte abasaasire. Olina akantu k'oyogedde nti abakyala ebiseera ebimu banditusonye naddala ffe bakinvinvimu. Ebintu
tugudde mu bigwe
bakinvinvi be basajja abakuzeemu abakuzidde ddala nga nze. Ebintu ebisinga tuguddemu biki? Tuguddemu bigwe. Endowooza ensi ekyuka buli lukya. Kaakati okugatta ebintu ebibiri omukadde nga nze n'emyaka gyange mutabani wange kiyinza okuba ekiki, naye nga tekitegeeza nti nno tuba situyina mukwano. Mukwano gwaffe tuba nagwo, naye ebiseera ebisinga nga endaga yaagwo ndowooza kaŋŋambe bwotyo n'embeera yaagwo nga eyinza okwawukana nammwe oba n'omulembe kati tukola ki ogwa mutabani wange ow'emyaka 22. Ekyo njagala bannaye tukikole ki?
Wali wankubya akaama wano n'agamba engeri gye biri nti byakuvuubira namu mukuzeekuzeemu mu myaka. Ate kye musobolera ddala kwe kubatwala obutwaze Dubai bashopinge ezo ziwe. Ebinene bwe bitasoboka.
Ako waliwo ebisoboka waliwo ebitakola ki ate waliwo n'ebisoboka. Oba waliwo wadde musajja mukulu eyenkana nganze oba asingako ng'omugamba wakomadde okgenda mu shopping n'omukyala Hajati ng'agamba ye agenda nange nenkola ki. Kati ate awo naddala mu nsi eno gye tulimu olaba nga kiba kigenze waki kigenze wala. Waliwo bye tusobola wadde waliwo ne bye tutakola ki ne bye tutasobola. Naye kyensaba nti bye tuba tutasobodde abato mutukole ki.
Sheikh waliwo akugambidde ddala naga nti Sheikh Jafar laavu y'Omukama ddayo gyesigalize nina okuvaayo.
Agata jakusa agaseekavanga ddala laavu eyange ya muki ya Mukama ddayo. N'ekyokubiri oyinza okuŋŋamba waliwo agambye nti wakomadde okutwala ogenda out neki ne Hajati. Ekyo sijja kulimba sikirina. Sorry to say, naye ate sirina wendagadde saagala kutambula na Hajati wange. Nandyagadde nnyo tuba tulina okugenda mu mikolo mu bintu byonna nga tuli naani, naye okuŋŋamba nti papa tugenda Spain. leka tugende mu hijja leka tugende tugenda mu hijja tugenda mu ki tugenda wabaawo ensonga zonna sandeetaze munnange asigale wakujawo ng'aliko ekizibu wabaawo mbaga kati tenajja nandyagadde tubeere naani naye sebo mukadde wange ogamba tugenda Brighton tugende mu hoteri twebakeyo mpanga ngenda kiiga olwaleero
barakallahu fikum mere fact nti ogamba nti ogenda kiiga olwaleero actually shows banga it's about planning and because we have some people who are not Luganda speakers, I'll just translate very quickly. Of course, translation is never really the right way because you cannot express them. Someone wants to express their point, but I'll try to do the translation. But for the people who are actually, like sort of elderly.
Take a microphone here once.
Oh, really? My microphone, I should be fine. Is that better? Is that any better now?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. No, I was just saying that we need, for the people that do not speak Luganda, I'll just translate for purposes of just helping them to understand. And we have quite a number on Facebook who are following this conversation, as well as even on Zoom. And Sheikh was saying that for the people who are kind of slightly aged, it becomes a little bit difficult to sort of jump into this whole phenomenon of going out on dates, of for example, flying off to Spain. But in the conversation that was in the chat room, people were sort of saying, if you cannot do that, then probably fly them to Dubai and let them just shop if you cannot take them out. Of course, Sheikh is saying he's willing to start learning. But I think it just goes to the whole point of sometimes you need to give us a little bit of time because we are coming from different backgrounds. Certain things we are now actually getting to swim. We are dipping our head straight into a conversation that has started years ago, but we are only awakening up to that. But actually, that's the whole thing, that you are spicing up. Relationship is like a fire. You need to be putting firewood into the fire to allow the flames to keep burning. And the only way you can do that is by keeping improving. Accepting that you don't know actually is a very good starting point. Because what it does then is it lays the foundation, critical foundation for you that you can use then to be able to improve oneself. And that's what we are exactly doing on a daily basis. You keep learning, you should be able to get ready to actually learn. Sheikh Jafar Sibu, we sigara wo inshallah platform ya zanyo gamu. Aina cha gamu. Uzaima, please unmute yourself.
You've even already given me a title.
Well, I could see the kind of battles you're fighting in the chat room, so I think
Mashallah.
a hitter. While you come on, Farida is saying Chempanga, you are right. I believe each age has its own experiences. Chempanga is right at the age where he is doing well. What is acceptable for that particular age group? Actually, there are certain things that look very weird. Uzaima, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is something I experienced seeing my dad and my mom, seeing how their love life moves on. This is something that is so specific and particular I want to share with you. I remember one day my mother put on a very nice gomesi, very nice. And it was at night. And then when it was time for dinner, the mother came putting on that gomesi and she sat with us. She served us the food. And then I asked my mother, Mama Uragawa, I see you are nicely dressed. And she was like, this is for your dad. And then I remember the following morning, my mother told me, nti Huzayima, bw'owasanga omukyala, bw'akwambaliranga olugoye ne lukunyuma muwaaniko. Abakyala baagala nnyo okubawaana. You should say something nice to her. Ebyo bye bikuuma abakyala. Naye bati ogenda n'ayambala olugoye, omusajja n'atamugambako, n'atamuwaanako. As she's moving along, n'asanga omusajja wa boda.
Yes.
N'afuuwa n'olwala. and then she was like, what do you expect next?
Yes.
Nasanga omusajja wa taxi na wallahi hajati onyirira. What do you expect next? Nangama my son,
somebody else appreciates what you have failed to appreciate as the husband.
Yes. Nangamba, make sure you mukyala wo omukola ki omuwanangako. Secondly, dress up for your lady. Kiki komyawe waka nobeera mu t-shirt za seno. Nobeera mu zino zi sleeveless. Sleeveless ezinanuka paka mavivi. No. In fact, it was my mother who taught me to go to the gym. Nangama, go to the gym and make up that body for her. Okay, no kumufunanga. Yes, you have that masculine body for her. You are gonna call it now. So that's something I wanted to share with my fellow Baulu.
Barakallahu fikum. Thank you very much. I can see iPad here. iPad just appeared, and then I don't know whether they're just settling in. Let me see. Hanifa, is it Hanifa Mpanga? If you can unmute yourself, please. Hanifa. Hanifa, if you can unmute yourself, please. Is it Hanifa Mpanga? Hanifa Mpata. Yes, please. Hanifa, welcome to Come Let's Talk.
Yes,
Wa alaikum salam. Good to have you here. Your ideal date.
Thank you very much. My ideal date. I don't know. Am I supposed to be able to share? I'm not married or any of the above. I feel like the people sharing experiences are married. So
but there would be your ideal. There would be your ideal date, given what you've seen, probably boring marriages. How often do you think probably you should go? Your husband should be able to take you out once you're married.
Well, I think beyond, personally, beyond the usual, or should I say, what would happen on a monthly basis, because I genuinely think that on a monthly basis, my husband and I should be able to go on a date. I think that's what I would want on a date, and not just on a date, but also like for some weekends. If maybe we have kids, we could, even take the kids to like my parents' home or his parents' home, and we just go away for a weekend. And that's even without the idea of having an annual family vacation. So for me, I think those would be ideal. And of course, dates should be playful. I don't think they have to be serious, like, we're sitting at dinner and talking, because we do that at home every single night. So if we can have like a typical day out, literally, or go swimming, or do like a private swimming something, or I usually hear people talking about night swimming. Like, those I think would be my ideal dates with my husband. And annually get out of the country. It could be within the country, but away from the usual. But I would prefer that, inshallah, Allah wanaba tuwade like bulungi. The money, and we are well off. It would be really nice to just travel the world and go to different places, because I think that as couples, we have to keep on finding different things to talk about, and what better way than to travel together and see different things together. You always have conversation. You always like, you remember 2021, remember 2019 when we did this and did that. I think that would be lovely, in my opinion.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Barakallahu fikum, Hanifa Pata. And someone here sent a message. I won't say from who, but they say my husband needs lessons. It's all here. Hanifa, they think vacation, the wake up. That's Amina. Thank you very much, Hanifa, for your contribution. Abu Jamal, what's your take on this? Unmute yourself, please, Abu Jamal. Abu Jamal? Abu Jamal, are you still making up your mind? I can see Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr. Oh, is it Jagwe? Oh, Jaugi. Is it FKB? Is it Jagwe? Go ahead. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Echikwangwira naye oluzungu, because we have a global audience. If you are comfortable, whichever.
I left mine at Entebbe Airport.
Okay, that's fine.
We thank you very much for the for the topic today. But the problem we have with men, I won't say Muslim men, I won't say Ugandan men, they take working as the main issue, providing things at home as the main issue, and they forget that having time with their wives or having time with their family is very important. That's why they don't taking out their wives or their married women as something so important. When you talk to them, they tell you, oh, you know, we have nowhere to leave the children, we have no this. You tell them, oh, you know, I can get a friend who can keep the children so that we can go out. Still, they give excuses.
So someone is saying in the chat room, just say it and name it. It's Ugandan men, because you said you didn't want to say it.
Because when we always say, when we tell them Ugandan men, they always say we criticize them, but still, yes, Ugandan men. They think of working, doing things in Uganda, whereby we take long without being there, and we lose that time of being with them that we would have loved. That they keep a distance from it, not knowing that they see it, but strictly, but importantly, they see that they need to do that, but they don't want to. They are rigid. They don't want to learn.
Yes.
Some of them even have friends who do it, but they don't want to learn from them. Mainly, Mr. Kalanta and Sheikh Kalanta always tell them, go to Harrods and buy a flower, or go to Harrods and buy a handkerchief. But even giving gifts, leave alone Valentine on, because they say Valentine is not Islamic or whatever. We don't need to wait for Valentine.
Jagwika, can you stay on the line, please? Don't go away. I can see Hafsa here with her hand quite high up. I'm sure probably she wants to have a conversation. Hafsa, go ahead, please. Bring your fire.
I'm not bringing fire per se, and I was just putting my hand up just to respond to, was it Abdul Karim? I do apologize for interrupting.
Right.
I was responding to, I think it was Abdul Karim who spoke earlier, who said that we should, if you see that your man is not responding or is not acting as you would want them, give him a nudge. The problem with the Ugandan men, in my case, I'm mentioning Ugandan men. The problem with the Ugandan men, the moment you said, you know what, I'm taking you out, you know, that mentality, we need to clean that mentality.
Yes, as Fabideke, that's true.
But you have the money, don't you?
But a woman is there to be nurtured, a woman is there to be loved, a woman is there to be protected and given love, shown love. But if you expect me, I am happy to contribute, but the problem, the moment you show just a little bit that you've got man, or you're innocent.
Yes, and Hafsa, I think you're actually raising the dust, because in the chat room now, I think it's getting quite interesting. Jamila says gifts Uganda Allah wasasire ya Rabbi Uganda men bachari wara. Laila Kadu says our cousin Temuri appetizing. That's a fine.
Kayira, your mic keeps disappearing. You have disappearing volume.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me well now? Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. No, I was just reading from the chat room where there was a message from Jamila who was saying gifts Uganda. Allah wasasire ya Rabbi Ugandan men.
Mr. Kayira.
Yes, please.
Sorry. To Aisha's point, yeah.
Karim.
Yeah.
Let's Kayira read the messages first, then you come in, please.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and Leila Kadu was saying our cousin Temuri appetizing. I think that is quite another one. Ustad is coming in. Firebase Hafsa, problem with men, not Ugandan men. Ugandan men, she says, Lisa insists. So it is a discussion. Actually, Ugandan men, what is wrong with us? Becca Chinji, can you please just come in? What's wrong with you, Ugandan men?
The question is, what is wrong with Ugandan women, really? You know, because if you keep putting down your men, they're actually going to start doing what you refer to them as. Because I don't know where you meet these men, but I do not think Ugandan men are that bad, you know? Because if a guy, I don't know, I do not understand. But
Becca, hold your fire a little bit, Becca. This is the situation. women have come up and they have raised a very pertinent question. They are saying, abasajja bana Uganda tebagaba gifts. Is that correct or not?
It is not correct.
Okay. Bagamba, the kind of gifts that Ugandan men provide are not relevant to the needs of the women. They are not proportionate to what the expectations of the women are. Is that correct or not?
It's not correct. I think
how would you know that? It's the women who are saying
they just need to. I think the ladies that actually have men like this just need to sit down, kumsala, go pray. What the heck? I don't know, Kubanga, seriously, sit down and speak to your man. Tell him, please, Mukwano. Or actually do this. Surprise Mutwale out. You take him out. Omugambi, this is how it's meant to be done. Show him,
Becca, stay on the line. Stay on the line. Stay on the line. I can see Amina here. Getting very, very interesting. And Jago, you still have the mic, so I haven't muted you. You can come in, but let's hear from Amina and then we'll come to Jago. Becca, stay on the line.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. Amina, what got you heated up?
This is really the right time. Now, to the previous speaker, we are not putting our men down. We're just being open-minded. We are having a dialogue. We are saying, this is who you are. We have tolerated you. We are tolerating you, but we are suffering. Mutu suffocating. We are suffering. Like we don't have that core of supporting until we die. So to the supporting, we are tolerating you to be clear to call it. We can see all this. These are weaknesses. But Amina, we are saying instead of indicating, you are our men. Learn. We gay.
Amina, what would you say? Amina, what would you say? What would you say to Hanif Ampata here, who says, I think men are doing better these days, and if your man is not doing what you want him to, then perhaps you should show him how to love you by loving him that way. Are you failing on that part? Could it be that women are failing on that part?
No, we are not failing. How do we want me to teach you how to love me? When these men come to win us over, they can see us, a Mokambwe, a what, but because of the qualities of the women they want, they dare you. Their fellows even ask them, they do their homework. They know what is going to win you over. They dare you. So that question you keep asking, what is your ideal date? I want them to think of what would be my ideal date. I want them to think of it.
Amina, you've heard that we are coming from different backgrounds that are sometimes so rigid. I end up, in UK, by virtue of what happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings a situation that I find myself in UK. I find myself in love. I'm watching a lot of television and I want to do the catch up. Don't you think is there a time frame where we are coming from? So these backgrounds probably have an impact. And as far I can see your hand up, I'll come to you. Yes, go ahead.
Dr. Kayira. I am coming from Butambala, Ntolomwe, myself, where I've seen women bakwata abami matai. I'm not using that kubanga nzize yuke nengamba nze nakule wafa abakazi bakwata abasajja ebigwo. I have learned that it is not good. Oyo omusajja avudde Masaka, that is not an excuse, because now ovudde Masaka n'omukyala avudde Masaka is tolerating you.
Owadde kaddu weapon. Kasoyogera ku Masaka oborese
Butambala Ntolo mwenga tutambulira mu bigere. Now that I'm in California ntambuze ebigere until someone tells me munaye kati oli mu America change. Batugamba when you go to Rome you behave like Romans. So tuli basiramu we have limits. But even within those limits real abasajja muyige. Yes, flowers byakwejala. Then buy me something ekitali kyakwejala tekigenda kugunda kibeerewo. Buy me a golden necklace. Nawe mukyala w'omufulume wabwerunga bikwambalire munda because ngena na bikwambalira munda naye oli atugambye mugenda out ne mubayo nga muyombye. You talk to the waitress with passion. This passion that I've never seen you jemba desimanyi nti olina. You know how to talk to people like a human being. So why don't you talk to me like a human being? That is why tuvayo mu restaurant nga tuyombye. Talk to me as a human being. Understand that I make mistakes and tolerate me. Naye stranger golabye omulundi gumu you apologizing to them, you're complimenting. you love the restaurant, osange waka nongosezawo, you don't even compliment, you don't even see my new hairstyle. When you know, tetusira bifiri. But even the little creativity that I make, you don't appreciate it. Ate ogamba nsomesa sincere osomesa muyizi ki muyizi nawe
hold it there. Hold it there. It's actually getting because this is what we are looking at is actually how abasajja ndoza emigo mugiwulidde hasfake please come in and then I'll go to the bed and then
Amina has amused me so much. I have a friend, her husband, out, but he was very traditional. Yemere out tajagala gabagenda kumpa mu potato bichinga tabyagala.
Obanga tajja kukutanga ngatebukusenge
nga she has to cook food at home. Nayenga she loves to see he anyumirwa nnyo okumutwala out n'atuula n'alya and he will look and have a drink and that's it. Bw'akomawo alya ettooke eriwobedde. That's what he knew. And that's what
he will take her.
Yes, but the whole idea of going out together, she even lost the interest, but he didn't know any better. He didn't know to buy again and other friends about mashed potato. It's food. No. So at some point in time,
on Facebook here, on Facebook, Chigonga Isa says, but I think we should not compare the reality to the imagination in soaps or films because it will spoil everything. Secondly, parents have not played a good role to build men up like they do to the girls. I think this is actually one theme that is continuously coming in. And I think we should just have a special day where we'll talk about how to make men because we have failed significantly on that. And because of
Kayira.
Yes, FKB.
Salamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Abasajja muleke kwekwasa nti kale yes baba buildings abakyala baba building kati abakyala twe babagezaako ba building lwaki temugendera n'ekyo ne muleka ekyabazadde okubeekwasa abasajja muve emabega omuntu agezaako bajjayo naye you don't want to.
Embeera z'abasajja n'abakyala za njawulo kyembadde ngamba nti should there be a time frame tebawa ku bantu bayige okaye nti muwadde emyaka ebiri naye emyaka ebiri bw'aba akyalembeddeyo tunoonyemeko
bayigire kufa ate n'omukanyuga wanga Allah gwe yakuwa n'omuwowa setujja bakanyuga naye bayige baveeyo bayige kati okufumbisa amatooke ate nga mugenze out wayige nti kale mbulya ne sikuta naye beerawo oba saba ebiwera saba ebiwera okakase nti nno at least nja kukuta naye ate n'otugenda out ate n'onfumbisa amatooke kati ekigendera kya out kiba kifudde ate ekigendererwa ekyo kugenda ne munyumirwa ne mudde ewaka you come back home to rest as well.
Yes.
And I was in a seminar one time. Omwami teyali musiraamu n'agamba ye bw'aba ayagala okwogera ne mukyala we without interruption bw'aba abeera Roehampton amuvuga n'amutwala mu north with phones left at home without any interruption.
Yes.
They were having their own time, no calls, no what, ne boogera ne banywedde kachai. But even you tell Ugandan men to go and drink tea in a restaurant.
Barakallah. Thank you very much. Aisha's Galaxy SMS here says the complaint to men is when women are sick, they don't have patience, especially if the wife has.
We don't hear you.
Check your mic.
Oh, you can't hear me. I don't know what's happening because I can hear myself. Can you hear me well now?
Whenever you bend to read the chat things, your microphone goes.
Right. I blocked the mic. So Aisha's Galaxy S70 says, my complaint about men is when women are sick, they don't have patience, especially if the wife has a serious disease like cancer. They can marry even in a month of bad news and make his wife get more sick, even die, while women can stay with the husband. Another message here is humorous and considerate. UFK, Aisha's Galaxy, when they are sick until they die. Kayira says, give gifts. It is sunnah. Abakazi temumanyi na kukozesa cutleries mbu mwagala genda out. Laila kaddu. Alikupe buddu ndowooza. Lisa says, I agree, Hanifa. And from Aisha Zondani, I'm looking for a good Muslim. Let's have Aisha Zondani, please. Aisha, if you can come up, please. Aisha. Aisha, you have the mic, please. Aisha, your audio is off. I can see your video is on, but your audio is off. Can you unmute yourself, please, Aisha? Aisha? Okay, I'll just go on. Aisha Zundani. Aisha Zundani, please, if you can unmute yourself. Aisha, you have the mic. Aisha is gone quiet. I'll just be taking the messages here. Hafsa, if you are still there, you've had the conversation, you've had the sort of
Sheikh Kayira, you're breaking up. You're breaking up, Sheikh Kayira. Your mic is really bad today.
I think what I'll do is I might actually just remove the headphones, and is that better?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I'll just go without the headphones.
And
just to keep the voice, the noise levels down.
Yeah,
Is that
they're
better?
saying Rauda Nabatans has something to say. Rauda Nabatans has something to say.
Oh, Rauda Nabatans, yes, please. Rauda, no, it was Aisha Zondani first, but I couldn't get her to unmute herself. But if Rauda is available, Rauda, please go ahead. Rauda. Rauda Nabatanzi. Let's try Aisha Zondani again. I'm trying to unmute you, but I can't see you unmute yourself. Aisha Zondani, please, if you can unmute yourself. Just click on the unmute button. No luck yet. We will keep trying. Rauda Nabatanzi, please. Please unmute yourself, Rauda.
Just as we are waiting for Rauda to unmute, let me just chip in here. There is President Wabavoka said that I'm responding to him, said that Abasajja, we are over putting them down. But listen, you should always learn to take positive criticism, because it helps you better yourself. There is no need to lie to yourself. Never convincing, and deep down you know what this is what is happening. Bobanga, you're lucky, you take your woman out, you provide for your woman, you love your woman in the right way. Fantastic. But there are actually men out there who do not know how to treat a woman, how to love a woman, how to respect a woman, how to take them out, because that is part of showing them love. Someone did mention that men yava Masaka, I think it was you, Sheikh Kayira, said nti bava Masaka abadiringe abasajja abave Masaka bannaye Sheikh Sekadde abagamba beera ku standard yo bw'obanga olemeddwa okuyiga how to behave ng'otuuse e Roma bannange noonyaayo munno naye alemeddwa okuyiga nga mutuuse e Roma mwefumbire amatooke gammwe mutekeko amayuuni n'ebinyeebyo ebifumbire mu mpombo. Otherwise, make an effort to learn the new things. Nga bw'okola effort n'oyiga omulimu kubanga ero gyano nga tomanyi kukola mirimu gya wano naye n'oyiga. Make an effort.
Hafsa waliwo akugamba naga nti nze saagala genda out, cuddles on sofa is enough, alhamdulillah, for my happy gifts, alhamdulillah.
Awo oba okigadde.
Kimumalirewo.
Awo oba okigadde, because your interior motive is to show this woman that you love her, or muyize, you know what she wants. If that is what she wants, alhamdulillah.
Just like Sarah Nansukusa says, if a woman does not know how to use cutlery, then take her to a place that suits her standards.
Sarah nkwagala nnyo, very true.
Okay. Right. Rauda, I don't know if you are available. Becca, you're raising your hand. I think you want to come in for the end.
Yeah, Sheikh. Sheikh, sometimes positive criticism could become abuse as well. Because if your lady tells you every week, you Ugandan men, at times you're going to get fed up. And then you're like,
that is true, sir.
No, that's why I said.
That's what if you're told today and you don't change, and you're told tomorrow you don't change, I'll keep on saying it until when it gets in your head.
Now, Sheikh Jafar, Jaja.
Salam alaikum.
Let us stay on Katuli Sheikh at work guidance. and then we
Salamu alaikum again. Akati baganda bange bawala bange n'abazzukulu ne bannyinaze. Ebintu bino ndowooza abasinga obungi tuliko basiraamu tubiteekemu nnyo okutya Allah. Obulamu bwaffe bwonna tubuzimbire nnyo ku nsonga eyo ey'okutyani ey'okutya Allah. Kuba buli debate bweba bweti abaami n'abakyala osanga nti buli tusikangana buli sayidi ekola ki
ayagala kuwangula
era kyova olaba nti tuvaawo ebiseera ebisinga nga situtuuse omusajja n'asomesa kati waliwo ayogedde ku Haji Sekasekadde sajja asomesezza emyezi gy'amaze ng'asomesa ku guno naye era olaba bwemanze mpuliriza ndaba era wakyaliwo okukola ki okusika omugwa naye nze kye nandigambye nti tusooke kukulembeza Allah mu ngeri zino n'ekirala buli ludda luwulirize luki lunaalwo nga bwe tuba tuwulizinganya era si kusika muki mugwa wabula Kassim otule wootudde ne Hajji ati avaako atule waatudde weewuwo muwuliziganye nga siwali yani akola ki. Ekirala tumanye gye tuva ekyo nakyo tukiteeke ku mmeeza nti tuva nze waffe Jumbi Gomba waliwo agambye ow'entolomwe tuliraanye Jumbi Gomba oyita Kiriri ne weeyongerayo munda wansi eyo gye banzaala tinze Mpanga gye nva n'omulala n'ava entolomwe. Kakati atujja kusanga Omunigeria ng'ava ewaabwe nabo nga balina embeera ezaabwe. Manya nti nze ow'entolomwe oba nze ow'ejjumbi ow'ekaliisizo situyinza kubeera ku level emu n'owe Lagos kaŋŋambe bwentyo.
Sheikh Jafar nkwegayidde nnyo okukwatiddako because Ngabe Nagambia, we have a very wide global community that is conversing here. I'll just translate what you have said then.
Okay.
Sheikh was raising a very important point, and this is for Sophie, Kenya, and others who don't understand Luganda. You've raised the issue of translation here. But the Sheikh was saying that simply, I think we need to sort of, it tends to be whenever you have conversations like this, it's about men versus women. You end up everyone wanting and trying to win the day. Ultimately, you leave the day and you have actually not left with much other than each side trying to win. So instead of going for that, the ideal situation would be for each side to listen to the other and sort of find the middle ground, hear the concerns from the two sides, and then try to work out. Ultimately, I think it goes to the two couples, the husband and wife, who are the integral parties. Whether it's a date in, whether it's a date out, the decisions that you reach, the manner in which you come to this, you come with an open mind, then it helps you to be able to address this. And I think that's the very point that Zainab Beggar has raised, where she says love has no formula. I knew a couple that lived by those 5 love languages and still divorced. Sheikh again and Master.
Kati sebo ensonga ey'okubiri mbadde ndowooza njumaza alhamdulillah jazakallahu khair mbadde maze ekyokuba nti tutegeere ewaffe ne bano be tusanze eno ffe gye tuva tuvudde bwayise omulala avuddewa tutegeere na bano be tusanze nabo balina embeera zaabwe n'engeri gye batambuzaamu ebintu naye tukoze tutya ogatta okuba nti kati bano tubazeemu naffe tuzze n'embeera zaffe n'enkula gye twakula nze gambye nva Gomba tukoze tutya okusigala nga tuli twegasse. Gundi bwe Seekamuzaata Mungu amusaasire yagera najja abaana bange Kayira ne Zaidi abamanyi baali bakajja emyaka ndowooza nga 10 egiyise oba okusingawo naye yabagamba bwe yajja ewaka temuleeta wano amaalo mujja kuleeta amaalo ge mujje Gomba mugaleete wano olw'okuba kyosanze wano gwe kyolaba nti kyekyo kwegamba obeere nga kyokola ki taata wagambe ensonga ogambe nti nze ndi mwana wa Queen ng'abaana ferayo bakola ki kyo kijja ne ku bakyala oluusi n'abaami. Kati ekigambo kyemala nakyo baganda bange n'abalala bateese kati tolaba ekigambo ekya Hajjati avuddewo agambye abasajja Bannayuganda. Akati ekintu ekyo olaba maama bambi kyatugamba kituufu tetweyisa bulungi oba temweyisa bulungi naye kati okukyatula bwatyo nga muwala wange awuliriza wano bamuzzukulu wange olaba bwe kigenda naye omukola ki kigenda omukwata nti bannayuganda bwe embeera eyo tufube ennyo girwanyisa oyinza okugamba nti nno bannayuganda babi nnyo naye ate n'ogenda ate nga Nigeria okutuuma amannya tuli ku mukutu ab'eggwanga eddala sijja gabeegeni ng'ate nabo balina ebyabwe ate bo nga babi nnyo okukola ki sigamba siwolereza basajja naye mmaliriza nga ngamba bannange bwe tudisikasinga ku nsonga eno eri sensitive nnyo tuyigenga nga tunoonya how tugenda kukola tutya tugenda kukwatagana tutya tugenda kuba tutya ne famire zaffe abaana baffe banaayagala batya abaana be tuzadde wano okuba nabo bajja kuba bannayuganda wadde bazungu baganda.
Barakallahu fikum Sheikh Sebo mpulese bulesi lwakadde kubanga ndaba akadde katandise tuwempenda ate nga abantu ndaba gyeyongedde okudda waggulu. For the translation, a quick one, just the Sheikh finished by urging the community that whenever we go into these kinds of discussions, we should come into these kinds of discussions not to just win, not to just vent, but let the venting, whatever we are getting off our chests, be aimed at improving our relationships, seeing how to better ourselves in the manner that we live with our spouses, with our loved ones, just to make sure that we can make improvement. Sheikh Jafar Mpanga, thank you very much. Becca Chinja, I'm just giving you a minute because I interrupted you. There was an urgent intervention there. Please come back in. But you've heard the words of Sheikh Mpanga where he says the idea should be able to learn. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, even me, I'm against that statement of Ugandan men, because you have not tested other Ugandan men. You've not seen how other Ugandan men basically treat their wives, you know. You cannot say that Ugandan men do this. But what I can suggest is if your husband is doing something or he's not doing something, find ways of how you can make him. Women, you have the powers of making a man do whatever you want him to do. If he's not doing it, sit down with him, tell him, please, let's go out for dinner. Let's do this. Organize a date. You know his program. Tell him, please, let's go out. You know, once most of them you've had
the women. You've had the women say they even suggest to go out, and it becomes an issue because the man then starts creating all sorts of excuses. Are men available to have those days out? Are the men willing to learn?
I think if he's not willing to learn, seek advice, speak to a sheikh or something, because he's got a problem. If he's not listening, then he's got a big. That's seriously, he's got a problem. That's a big. You know, seek advice.
There are many coming up, and I wanted to have a chance to hear from other people. Let's hear from you. One voice you on that. Sheikh Amlegi omukono gwabadde waggulu. Well, while I'm waiting for Sheikh to come, I can see Infinix Hot 7 to everyone. It says, I think we say Banayuganda. It seems we are comparing with other people or communities. Hanifa Mpata says, but because relationships take work and this is just a part of it. Zenambega says, Ate for us Muslims, love builds as we don't do courtship. Some Ugandan men need lessons. Lisa says, how do you know, Becca? I think that was a question to Becca. Have open communication, says Becca. Laila Kadu says, abakazi abannayuganda baagala nnyo sente si gifts. Bawoza maama mulwadde taata ali mu ddwaliro omusajja n'akuyita mu bizibu family kati anaafuna ddi appetite okutwala out ne gifts ng'omusaba sente 24/7. Laila Kadu yaze kuba mundu z'abasajja leero. Uzaiba says, Zena, that's because people don't do what the Prophet ﷺ taught before we marry in pursuit of understanding each other. And I think actually that is a very, very important point that we cannot leave here without making mention of. Al-Kuf'ah, it comes in the Sharia, very, very important element what you understand the person you're going to get married to. The Banyankore have got a saying, they say, Oshwera abuza, ozara araguza. If you're going to get married, whoever is going to get married, ask, find out about the kind of person you're going to get married to. Just like when you have a child, okumanya eddagala omuntu yenna yazadde omwana ayiga eddagala. Ajatibu Kenya says mufube nnyo mubeere ba mukwano, friends as a couple. And actually ebintu ebimu ku bakyala ndoza Hajati Farida continues to say mubitereeze nga mwakafumbiriganwa temulinda for things. You actually try and correct whatever needs to be corrected at the start of the relationship instead of leaving it when it might be too late. Sheikh Amrege, simanyi obuuze ssebo, are you there? Sheikh Amrege?
Yes, obadde omuzindalo tonnagumpa obwedde ogamba kamulegeya naye nga tonzindalo togumpadde.
Oh, really? Sorry. No.
Kakati ebigambo byange si biwanvu nnyo naye nga ngobereza ku kigambo kya mukadde wange Sheikh Mpanga nti abantu abamu abajja wano tulina ensobi ze tukola.
Isma, if you can help me, please mute some of the other voices that are bleeding in. Yes, share again the mass.
Tulina ensobi ze tukola ezituleetera oluusi obuzibu abantu okubeera nti beetamwa. Addala ku sayidi y'abakyala baffe ne bannyinaffe, bamaama baffe, oluusi beetamwa olw'empisa zaffe oluusi ze tuba tukoze, ekireetedde abakyala buli kiseera okubeera nti bayogera ekigambo mutabani wange Beka ky'atayagala kuwulira, abasajja bannayuganda. Lwaki? Nti abasajja twagala ne tutuuka kuno ne tufuna ebintu, embeera etali ntuufu kaŋŋambe bwe nti. Nti Kassim bw'obeera kuno n'owasa omukyala gw'owasizza n'omuyisa gwe n'otayagala kukyusaamu, okitegedde, n'oyagala omuyise nga bakadde bwe baayisanga ki, kubanga abantu abamu bwe batyo bwe bakola. Owulidde, n'oyagala jjajjaawo bwe yayisanga omukyala naawe bw'ali wano bw'okola ki?
Era Sheikh bwe kizze mu chatroom nti waliwo Isa Kigongo naye era bw'abaddaanga nti there is a lady I know who compares all men with her father. Unfortunately, the father is dead, but all the time ageraageranya abasajja ne kitaawe. Dad used to do this for me, also you must do it.
Naye etwalina nze kwekyo nga nkizaayo ewaffe ekyaddondo, twalina mukadde waffe bwe yabanga afumbiza bannyinaffe ng'ababuulira abagamba ebigambo bibiri abaana, omulenzi n'omuwala. Agamba nti gwe okulidde Wandegeya, omwana gw'otwala akulidde Kyanja. It's just 2 miles. Naye ebintu bye bakola ewa Kiggundu si bye bakola ewa Kasule. Enneeyisa n'enneeyisa y'ewa Kiggundu ndala nnyo. Please, Fatuma toddira bintu by'ewa Kiggundu kubitwala wa Kasule, ate naawe Kasule please leka kuddira bya Kasule kubireeta wa Fatuma. Bwe munaaba mukoze bwe mutyo, mwe muyigaŋŋane, mutuule mwogere. Ekisinga okuleeta obuzibu muffe, communication nzibu nnyo mu bufumbo bwaffe. That's the big problem. Yes. That's the big problem. Kubanga njogera by experience nti abantu emisango gye tufuna gyonna bw'ogenda okuwuliriza oli ng'akunnyonnyola ensonga oba muwala oba mulenzi ng'akubuulira ensonga ng'olabira ddala nti ekireese breakdown kubulwa communication waka. Obutoogera buli kiseera n'okomawo okooye ne weebikka, n'oli n'akomawo akooye ne yeebikka, njagala kulya mmere, njagala kunywa caayi, tewali sukaali, tewali munnyo, nga byebigambo ebikozesebwa byokka waka. That's why tufunye ebizibu bino byonna ebigamba bannayuganda babi. Kati weesanga ng'abawala abasinga obungi abali wano be bazaalidde wano tebaagala kufumbirwa bannayuganda olw'okuba bawulira bamaama baabwe. Every time they are complaining about
Ugandan men.
Yeah,
Barakallahu fikum, Sheikh Amrege. I'm only stopping you because of time, and I want to get in more people at least as we wrap up. Even our moment of thank you now is almost overrun, but I'd rather we get more people actually talking about this conversation. I thank you very much. We are live on 75 Abbey Radio. The program is Come. Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, and we are live as well on Zoom as well as YouTube on UMMA Connect. You can keep that conversation coming in, and we are taking your messages in. Thank you very much for a very, very interesting, heated debate. I could not actually even think about stopping it. Nimeona na rafiki yangu ambaye amekuja na nahakikisha ni wakati umesalia sana uliko. Richard Salu, welcome very much to the program. Richard, tafadhali unmute yourself. Richard Salu. Hello, Richard. Can you please unmute yourself? Hello, Richard. Habari za saa hizi? Hello, Richard. I can't hear you, but your mic is unmuted. Hi, Richard. I'll go to Farida Kasule. I think I saw Farida Kasule. It just disappeared.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, Chef. Yeah, Ustaz. Let me hear your take. Actually, I looked for you and you had disappeared. Ustaz Zaid.
First of all, KK, I would like to thank and give gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who blessed me with a beautiful, wonderful wife.
She says you haven't taken her out yet.
Who never never complains like some of these women complain here. We all have our flaws, you know, but a woman that appreciates you and you appreciate her the way you are, the two of you, makes a big difference in a marriage. Dating your spouse or your wife or your husband is something that we should all be doing. You just have to know what she is into. She watches movies. She loves movies. She loves shopping. She loves whatever she wants, and you just do that. But I think women should stop the blame game. Appreciate us the way we are, because that's who we are, and we can only do so much. Please, our women, we cannot be like the white people that you admire, who you want us to be like. We are Ugandans. We are not traditional. Some of us are traditional, yes. Some of us are traditional, but please, taking you out is something easy for you to. You can take me out. I can take you out. But I think you have to create this atmosphere, the romantic atmosphere. We desire you. We adore you. Yeah. You have to lead the way in these things. You create the atmosphere. Yeah, like Leila Kadwa has been saying. Create that romantic atmosphere. Every time I come back home, you surprise me, then I'll be surprising you. Yeah, we are your babies.
Hello.
We are your baby. We are your babies. Kassim Kayira is Naima's baby. So Nalongo has to lead in terms of love. Hajat Naima has to lead Sheikh Kayira in terms of the romantic stuff. We romantically we are not like you. Please lead the way. Why don't you just lead the way? Yeah.
Ustad Zaid.
I haven't spoken for a long time.
Can you hear me? I was just saying, Amina here says, we desire you too, but when we lead you, you think we are controlling. We are your babies too, not your mothers.
That's so wrong. That's a wrong attitude. I'm your baby. I haven't called you my mother. Yeah. But being a baby, you are my baby in other stuff, yeah. But when it comes to managing our finances and managing the home and the romantic stuff, I'm your baby. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best woman, because Aisha says this, the best woman is that woman who manages her husband's finances. Yeah, she's not extravagant with her husband's finances. So you keep us in check. Yeah, you want to go out, we go out. Yeah, but as long as we work within our means, don't stretch. Yeah, we've got bills to pay. We have a lot to pay. Don't stretch. We can go out once a month or once in 2 months. That's not a problem. But please lead the way. I mean, I mean, maybe I'm not gonna say that you married a wrong person. No, but we learn, like my child, we learn on the job. We men learn on the job. Yeah, Allah created you to be our flowers, our gifts, I don't know. Just mention it as that.
Zaid, my question to you is then, the kind of picture that you're painting is almost saying there should not be change. Yet in these circumstances, we have seen particular things that actually stand out, things that we do wrongly as men. Shouldn't we be ready to learn? Because you're saying they should help us, they should nurture us as their babies. But now, shouldn't a baby be ready then to be given direction on where things can go? I know nobody's complete. The men are struggling, but so are the women. Where do we find the compromise position? How do we find the middle ground that would allow us to move forward? When everybody thinks, men are thinking, they are right in their own way, and that's how they've been brought up. Women think that they want particular things. We have a new influence in the middle of that, which is the foreign influence. We watch movies, people see these things. People want to kiss and lift a leg as if it's a dog that is weeing. We are picking up all these aspects. How do we balance that within our
tradition? By appreciating Kassim Kayira the way he is, and by listening more, Hajat Naima, by listening more than you talk. That's it. That is going to create a romantic atmosphere. You complain a lot. That's a characteristic that most women have. 90%. Complaining a lot. But if you listen more than you say, everything is going to be sorted.
Well, Jagwe seems to have come back, Sheikh Zaid. FKB Jauge, is there something burning? We are actually wrapping out now. We are wrapping up. We've got our 8 minutes to end. A very interesting show that actually could almost run for another day.
Sina nnyo katalekeka ne Sheikh Zaidi.
No.
Mwagala tubanakyalinge nga babbebi bammwe, babbebi baffe. Ne nammwe mutukwate nga babbebi still. Kuba ffe mbi bwe twekwata nga babbebi omukwano gye guva. Era kye tubasaba sigamba nti tubanaaginga oba ki naye muyige era nga bagambye ffenna tuva walala naye let's learn from each other those small things. Tetubagambye nti muli babi naye tuyiga obwo obutono. Abakyala bannayuganda babagamba tebaagala bimuli, nze ku lwange tokindeetera kuba sikyagala.
Oyagala kikwatika?
Angulire ekintu ekirala oba ajja kireeta nkireka wate kikunyiize ate oba ofuddeyo okungulira kati okungulira ekinaakunyiiza nange ne bwe mbanze ne nkuleetera kino otakikozesa kijja kunyiiza. Kati Sheikh Zaidi olumu oyinza okugamba nti nno kale we nurture you up we do what. Sheikh Zaidi ne nkulaga nti kale nze leero nkugulidde akalabu. Omwaka ne guggwako ne nkugulira akalala. Ne nkugulira ku birthday yo. Tetugikuziza ne Justin kwa bulabu. Gwe n'oba mwaka guweddeko tolina kwoleese taata. Ye maama ngenda kukola ntya paka. Which means nja kivaako ate kati ekyo kiba kijjawo era omukwano omuntu agaye namugulira n'atagula ne those small things ffenna twebereremu obeerewo nga baby wange. Yes, we take you as our babies, take us as well as your babies.
Barakallahu fikum. Quite brilliant. 7 minutes to the end of the program. Farida Kasuri, I'd like to hear your take on this. Unmute yourself, please. Farida Kasule, if you can unmute yourself as we move towards the end. Farida Kasule, please unmute yourself. Are you there? Richard Salu, did you manage to unmute yourself? Richard Salu, Upo? You have been listening in into the conversation. Richard, Karibu. Hi, Richard. Okay, Farida Kasule is up now. Farida Kasule, your take, please, while we wait for Richard.
Rita has nothing to say at the moment. Nigeria is in like Nayenga. I have a lot of Abasajja.
Abasajja bakola ki? I didn't hear that.
Mulina okwebeeramu. Kulebirabo nga bakyala all the time because twagala tubazze all the time. Mumanyi nga babebi okitegera lyate ffe mumutuwasa mwerabira nti mulina okutulabirira. Abasinga they are so mean. Babeera ne ssente zaabwe ne bazikukulira abamu tebayogera tebafuna naye ate abakyala n'oba ofunye katono katya ogulira abaana ogulira abaami ekimu ekibeera nga kitambula bulungi temweberere mu mugabeeko nga ffe tukola kuba tuli bakoowu
naye kati obukoowu obwo tugenda buteeka kubanga obukoowa naffe netukoowa endulu terabise
obukoowu obwo nina okulaba tinaffe twetaaga otukola otuzza obujja omuteeko oba oyagala wonye obulungi oba oyagala yambala obulungi bugenda
Frida, you're not clear. Frida, you're not clear. Can you?
Farida, Mike, yeah, but I was trying to put up with it. It's a bit manageable.
Frida, kat Frida, I think tayagala bwagazi mumuwulire. Kuba nja kuyiza abantu naye nga mulina nga nomwe mwange kwentadde mulina okutwagala ennyo kubanga abasinga twabafumbira mwebe baana abalenzi mweka ewammwe ene mulowooza mwe balenzi mweka ne mukola ekitigi ne tubalabirira abana ne tubazaalira ne
Farida mukoddomi wange ng'akulabiridde nnyo si makulu
naidi muleke bamukoleko naawe
omwoyo omwajo mulina okutulabirira kati soogera ku kimbo wayekka nenjogera ku mwenna kubanga abaamu nabo mulina tuwa ebirabo ate zaidi ye mulina otuwa ku birabo tubaagala tubazaalira abaana abalungi oli balabako nagamba Farida Kasule kiba nange alina yes it is because twewaayo obulamu bwaffe ffenna ne tuba nga tubaagala namwe mutwagale ebirabo bye binzita era oba tompadde ekirabo weefeeko naye ng'emmere njagikumbira nda buli kimu nga mulina okutwagala.
Barakallahu fikum. Hajati Bukenya ojidde mukadde mwennyini kubanga tulinga abali mu kuwunzika akazinda kalina nnyo.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Ensonga ndowooza ziwulidde emigo batukubye edda tuli mu kunyiga biwundu.
Alhamdulillah, naye bwe tukuza abaana omwana bw'akola ekirungi noweetunuza eri ng'atakiraba n'enkya n'akikola noweetunuza eri ng'atakiraba tekimu empoweringa kugenda mu maaso. Badde nsaba abakyala musiimeko ate twebaze nnyo abantu abatubeererawo ku Zoom kuno n'emisomo gye batuwa. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamiina. Ebintu bibadde bibi nnyo mu community yaffe ffenna tukkirize. Naye ate wabaawo akatono ennyo akakyuseeko buli ssawa tubeere nga tetubeera ku ludda luli lukyamu. Bwe tuba nga tubadde n'abaami 10 ne tufunayo 3 abakyala ne batugamba nti bannange alhamdulillah ekyo tukitwale nti kya bbeeyi. Kitegeeza nti mu myezi 3 ate tujja kufunayo n'abalala 5 tubeere 5 ku 5 naye na5 bali bwe tunaayongera ennyo emisomo ate nabo tujja basika. Bannange amazima gali nti as a community with my experience tubadde bubi nnyo ku nsonga y'abaami abali mu marriages okutegeera bye bateekwa okukola mu marriage zaabwe. Naye kati tufunye omukisa waliwo ebyogerwako tuyinamu bwe tulaba n'otugamba bannange n'omubuuza omuwala kati ennaku zino n'agamba maama ate alhamdulillah waliwoko ku njawulo kati abakyala mu kipinge enjawulo eyo eriwo mu appreciating ate mwongeremu okukyusa nti ebintu ebimu bye tutwala nti bikyamu bambi mwabitandika bubi obufumbo bwogowa butandika otya ebintu ebimu abiyiga buyizi ate obimuyigiriza after 10 years olw'okumanya nti waliwo abantu wabagenda out abantu babeera wano nga n'amatooke mu nju tegagendamu ng'abantu amatooke bagalya ku mikolo natandika mpolampola okutandika okugula ebokisi y'amatooke awaka kati ebintu olw'okuba bijja mpolampola tubireete mpolampola mu mukwano mu kuyiga ate kyayize ekitono ennyo abaami balwawo okuyiga olw'okuba balina ego gye tumanyi nti bambi yava wa Allah kati mu katono kayize ate muwaane nnyo ajja kwongeramu amaanyi naawe omwami omukyala bw'aba alina kyakoledde naawe
nti mbadde saagala kusala mu kirimi naye waliwo ka message akazze wano kempulira akagattira mu kigambo kyo Asia here says women are like flowers when a flower is not watered it dries out. Galaxy S9 naye kwagambira nti he is the same man who held my hand when I was blind and taught me how to love and care at the time we were dating. Surprisingly, he became blind himself after marriage. Unbelievable. Hajat Farida Wunzika. Hajat Farida, obadde okyalina akazindalo mbadde ndeeseka kuwerekereza buwerekera
obadde okanzigyeko nze nsaba nnyo ala tukwatireko ffenna community yaffe buli omu mwali mu marriage mwenna mugikolerere marriage kubaawo so si kusinga tinzenze nsinga owe side eno tinzenze kanwanire eri side eri tutereze butereza makati bane tukoze tutya olwaliro omusomo guno mwenna ng'abali wano kikye muyizeemu nga tukomekkereza tuyizeemu abaami tuyige nnyo okubeera nga tulabirira abakyala tuyigemu okubeera nga tuzza abaami baffe obujja muddemu mwekwane mugaye nga nti tujja kwekwana nga at least oba buli banyuma lwa myezi 4 tukole ki tubuilding back a marriage omukwano gwetaaga kufukirira nga kimuli kuba gukala buli saawa olina okunoonya obukodyo obupya buli saawa olina okuddaabiriza munno obufumbo bujja kutereera n'ensobi ze tubadde nazo kati zigenda tuyigidde ku mikutu ebintu bingi wali tomanyi naye nga tusaba nnyo Kayira ebintu bye mutuleetera pulogulaamu zino zijja tubeererawo n'okuyigiriza abaana baffe abato bo bayingire mu marriage nga te ezaabwe zaawuka abalenzi kembasembyayo akagambo akakulu ennyo lekerawo ga taata wange yali akola bw'ati eby'abataata byali birala bamaama baali tebalina gye balaga bamaami bafumbirwanga tebalina mmotoka tebalina mayumba tebalina mapoloti mwe abakyala be muwasa balina 15,000 13 ziri mu nsawo zaabwe kati bo balina gye balaga 30 minutes mukwate bulungi obufumbo mu buwumbewumbe mu bunyumi ne taata yakubanga omukyala nti nange nyina omukuba taata omukyala yafukamiranga ku mavivi nti nange obanga alina okufukamira si bwe biri eno modern ey'obufumbo buno ndala mugikwate bulungi bujja banyumira. Assalamu alaikum
wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And what a very beautiful note at which point to end the program. I thank you very, very much for a very interesting program. Again, you've made my day, you've made our night. Thank you very much. This is a global community conversation where no topic is out of bounds, but we do it with decency. I thank you very much. I hope that probably whoever has joined us tonight has left with something. You didn't leave the way you came in. Whoever had some pain on their chest and they just wanted to get it off their chests, I'm hoping that you managed to get that off your chests. And then now that we have learned, it is time to go and put into practice. Nora UK says, thanks so much for this program. Always looking forward to it every week. And Zenambega says, Naima, you and I are lucky. I don't know where the luck comes from. Laila Kadu says to the diaspora, but we love your diaspora. So it has to be love that actually matches the diaspora. Thanks so much. And I can only wish you a very, very good night. Saying, oh, I can see Zaid Mugarura. I'll just allow him. I've never seen him on the program. I think it would be good to just hear from Zaid. Zaid Mugarura, please. You have the microphone. You are the last person to have the word, and then we'll call him. Zaid Mugarura. Zaid Mugarura. I'm looking for you. It looks like you put your hand down once you thought we were already wrapping up, but I saw your hand up.
It's okay. That's a PC. That's I would have loved to hear from him.
Who?
Zaid Mugarura.
Yes. And he has disappeared. I can't see him here. It would be good just to break the rule and just allow.
He's a police officer.
Oh, really? Can we find him? Can we see him at all? Zaid Mugarura, you found him.
Namesake.
Okay, Zaid Mugarura, please go ahead. Welcome to the program. You are having the last word.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. My namesake.
Yes, Zaid, you're having the last word. Have you muted yourself? To unmuting. You can, yes, Zaid, go ahead, please. You're running the last minute.
Yes. What I want to put forward was this was a great program. I just caught it in the middle, but it hit most of the points that affect most marriages, really. I mean, minor, small things. Like the gestures of a flower, the gestures of going out, small gestures, especially during this lockdown. We've seen a lot of those things come to the forefront, and they've affected marriages long term. And thank you very much. We really appreciate this program. And
just like
I hope to hear.
My wife just says my ideal date going for a latte. Now I know. I've been buying the lattes. Now I'm comfortable. Go ahead, Zaid. You're having the last one. Program, you say?
Is that for tonight?
That's what she says. It's too late. I think it's already 10 o'clock. The lattes have closed. So that can be tomorrow's day. Zaid.
Mine is Kabalagala.
Yours is Kabalagala. And I'm the Barakallah. Thank you very, very much.
Zaidi Uganda.
Now?
Sheikh Zaidi Kabalagala jampostinga okuva Uganda. Betajja olina mwangu nnyo.
Thank you very much. Amina here says cappuccino, and then the gas station will be great. Oh, well, that's for another one. Another one says ice cream. Oh, okay. We get that. Barakallahu fikum. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you very much for making the time. Inshallah, let's do it again next week. We'll be looking ahead to another interesting topic. But you can see that we are beginning to build up a particular formula. I don't know if you've noticed that. Starting, with all the topics, they are sort of building up towards strengthening our homes. And probably the next program, inshallah, we'll be looking at even how to even make it better. The men, we are willing and ready to learn. Take us slow, take us at our pace that we'll be able to understand. The ladies, please appreciate the little steps, the baby steps that we take in that direction. Every appreciation actually makes all the difference in a relationship. Hope to see you again next week, inshallah. Tomorrow, we've got Sheikh Nkata on UMMA Connected as usual. And then on
Sheikh Kayira.
Yes, sir.
Chronicles start with Haji Naduli start at 12 p.m.
12 p.m. our time, and therefore please be ready. You cannot want to miss that. I'll be there as one of the hosts hosting Haji Naduli with the history. You cannot afford to miss that. I'm sure you've been seeing a lot of clips that we're making around. We want to refine that and bring a little bit of cream into what will be tomorrow, inshallah. On Thursday, the Muslima are organizing part 2 of the divorce. Another beautiful session that you can't miss. On Friday, we cross over to UMC with the Quran recitation, as well as Saturday, very important program on vaccination regarding the vaccines that we are having now. A big program that you cannot miss on Saturday actually has lots of guests that are going to be there, including senior practitioners and frontline doctors who have been at the forefront of the fight against COVID-19. Beautiful program that you cannot afford to miss on Saturday, inshallah. Sunday, UMC will cross to the second day, and then on the back of that, we end our week on high note.
Okay, there is an injustice that you do.
Oh yes, sir. Which one?
How about the Americans? How about the Netherlands? The Netherlands.
My sincere apologies because I don't have their programs as of now, but I know at least the UMMA does on Saturday. Sincere apologies to the Americans and the Netherlands. I think Netherlands is on Friday evening. That's when we have the dars.
Friday evening, the USA, Boston.
Yeah, Friday, Boston.
And 2 a.m. UK time will be UMMA. Yep. Then Saturday, still the USA, and at 7 p.m. Netherlands will be at 4 p.m. And Sunday, same thing. USA.
Sundays, normally when I follow the Sheikh Mufti Mambo, it's one program that I can hardly miss. Even if I miss it, I always so that's a beautiful week that is all gone in. My sincere apologies to the Americans and the Dutch. Inshallah, I'll get that full program because we are one community, and therefore, whatever we do, we're just trying to see the
even UAE are complaining that theirs is Friday morning.
I said Dubai. Oh, barakallahu fikum. Guys, please provide me with the programs and then I'll be availing, because it's not every day that you hear at the end of programs people flagging other programs. It is just here on Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, that we are doing it. We've been live on 75W Radio and live on UMMA Connected on YouTube and Zoom. Have a very brilliant night. Bi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi